Right, welcome to week 3 of the FITNEST programming. We are back to day 1. So, as we've done in previous weeks, today is going to be a lower body focus. We want to make sure we get that nice and loosened up, so we're going to go ahead and get into it with knee hugs. Grabbing that knee, pulling it up to the chest, give it a nice little tug. We're going to get 10 repetitions on each leg, then transition to the quad pull, keeping that knee pointed down, not extended behind or in front, alternating, feeling that good stretch right to the front of that hip, the top of that quad, 10 on each. Then we're going to go into a new one, the wide stance toe touch. So we're going to spread those legs nice and wide, start nice and tall. We're going to reach down to one side, come up to the middle, up, and to the other side, and up. And that's going to be 1 rep. We're going to follow that back through, middle, side, and up. There's 2. All right, so the goal here is to keep those legs nice and straight as we're reaching down. Again, with that wider stance, you should be able to have a little bit more success than if the feet were narrow. After those, we're going to take it to the ground with the lying hamstring stretch. So to start, I'm going to cross one ankle over the opposite knee, and I'm going to grab hold of this extended leg, lean back, and pull that leg into my chest. Holding it here for 30 seconds, and then we'll switch. Again, crossing the ankle over the knee, grabbing hold of the extended leg, pulling it up for 30 seconds. Once we're done there, we're going to continue to stay on the floor for our final stretch movement, which is the shin box drill. So if we're starting in a seated position right here, we're going to let both knees fall to one side. My foot is going to be just in front of my opposite knee. Sitting up nice and tall, the goal is to rotate across until, again, this knee is in contact with that opposite foot or close to. Now, if we need to, we can put our hands down, lean back a little bit to get that shift, but we do want to return to that nice, tall, seated position. The goal is going to be to get to a point of hip flexibility that we can keep our chest nice and tall as we pivot across, right? Now, after the shin box drill, we're going to stand it up, and we're going to go into the final piece of our warm-up, getting that heart rate up a little bit. So it's going to be 2 rounds of the following. We're going to start with 5 inchworms. So again, set your legs as wide as you need to, keeping them straight, but that allows you to reach the ground. Walking it out, pause in that plank position, and walk it back up. There's 1, we've got 4 more to go. Then we're going to go into the high knees, starting with those feet just underneath the body. 1 knee comes up, and alternate, getting that knee nice and high. We're looking for 10 reps on each knee. If we need to, we can do that high march in place. Again, the goal is to get that knee above that hip, all right? After that, we're going to go for 5 crouching in and out steps. So what that's going to look like, I'm going to show you from the front and then the side. We're going to start with our feet narrow. We're going to go into a partial crouch. I'm going to step out, step in, and that's 1. So speeding that up a little bit, looks something like this. All right, so again, from the side, we're getting into that crouch position. Step out, in, out, in. Nice and quick. You guys are going to feel that burn in those quads and in those glutes nice and quick. After those in and out steps, we're going for butt kickers. So in place, bringing 1 heel up at a time. Knees stay pointed down. Getting those heels up as high as we can, hopefully to hit that butt. Now if we need to, we can slow it down and do a single leg kick back right here. All right, 2 rounds of that, then take a short little break, come back, and we'll do our strength portion. Today, the strength portion is going to be 3 rounds. You're going to work from top to bottom 3 times, performing 10 repetitions of each movement on each side, if it's a singular-sided movement. The first one we're going to do is a knee raise to RDL. So what that's going to look like, we're going to start standing nice and tall. We're going to bring 1 leg up. We're going to lean forward and kick that leg back behind us, returning with that knee up. Lean forward, kick back, and returning. All right, 10 repetitions on one, 10 repetitions on the other. Now, if you can see, that is a balance portion, all right? It's targeting the glutes, those hamstrings, but there is a level of balance to it as well. So if you need to, you can just put a finger on the wall, praying that knee up, and extending back, knee up, and extending back. And you'll still get the same stimulus in the glutes and hamstrings that we're looking for without having to lose some of that by balance, all right? From there, we're doing some calf raises. If you have a step and you prefer to do it on a step, you can, but what we're gonna be doing is standing nice and tall, feet shoulder width apart. We're gonna come up on our toes, hold for 2, 3, back down. Up, 2, 3, back down. Up, 2, 3, and back down for 10 repetitions. After that, we're gonna take it to the ground for the next 2 movements. So this one is called the clam, and this is gonna focus on the exterior glute. We're gonna lay on one side with my knees bent and stacked, all right? You can go on your elbow, you can lay all the way down if you prefer, up to you. Here, we're going to keep the feet in contact and lift the knee and back down. Keep my chest forward, using that glute to open up the hips for 10 repetitions on this side. Then we flip over and perform 10 repetitions on this side. After we're done with the clamps, we're doing the glute bridges. But today we're gonna do them single legged. So that means 10 on each leg. Starting on the ground, you can put your hands out to the side, you can put them underneath your head, wherever you feel most comfortable. We're gonna lift one leg, keeping our thighs in line. That heel is gonna drive into the ground on that opposite leg. Hips up and down. Up and down. 10 reps on one leg, and then we'll switch. 10 reps on the other. Again, keeping those thighs in line the whole time. Want to make sure we're not just pointing that leg straight, but keeping them in line so we have a little bit more work in those hip flexors today. After those glute bridges, we are going to stand it back up for this final movement of your strength portion, and we're going to do chair sits or chair squats. To do that, find a chair, an arm rest on the couch, something that is higher than your typical squat. What we're going to do is come and stand just in front of it, setting up in our normal squat stance with my feet hip width apart or just outside. Keeping the chest nice and tall, arms reach in front. I'm going to squat down, reaching those hips back until I tap the chair, and I'm going to come back up. Down, tap the chair, and back up. Notice I'm not sitting and relaxing back. We're simply coming down, tapping, and coming back up. If the height that you chose is too easy, you can find something lower for round 2 or round 3. We want to make that last round challenging, but we also want to make sure that we're keeping good posture and good knee control. We want to make sure that the knees are not falling in as we're standing up. All right, 3 rounds, 10 repetitions of each movement on each side, or for those chair squats or the calf raises, just 10 movements since that you're using both sides at once. Once that's wrapped up and you're all done with those 3 rounds, we're going to finish off with a little bit of conditioning. Today's workout is going to be a 10-minute clock. You're going to be working the full 10 minutes, completing as many rounds of this as you can. This is also called an AMRAP, as many repetitions as possible. What you're going to start with is 20 in and out crouching steps. So just like we did in our warm-up, crouching down, moving those feet nice and quick, in and out, and in and out. Every time the feet go out and then come back in and return to that starting position, that's when your repetition counts. So you're going to be performing 20 of those, followed by 20 single leg RDLs. Now this one you're going to do 10 on each leg. All right, you can alternate every rep, or you can do all 10 on one before doing 10 on the other. The RDL, one foot comes up off the ground, lean it forward, that leg raises behind us, and we're reaching for the ground. Just get as low as you can. If you're not able to quite touch the ground, that's okay, but we want both legs to stay relatively straight as we hinge forward, controlling in the glute. All right, so 10 repetitions on each side, followed by 20 forward, backward steps or hops. So I'm gonna come at an angle here so you guys can see. We're gonna go forward and back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or if you want to up your game a little bit, then we're going to do hops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. 20 repetitions there, and we're going to follow it up with 20 of the boxing duck unders. So that's the box duck unders like we did last week. A little bit wider on that stance. We're going to come down to one side, ducking underneath, and up to the other. There's 1, underneath, there's 2. All right? So you're going to technically do 10 to each side, but a total of 20 repetitions. Now, if you get through all 4 movements and you still have time left in those 10 minutes, I want you to start back up at the top at the in and out crouching steps. Continue through those, still have time, back to the RDLs, back to the forward, backward steps or hops, and then if we've still got time, back to those duck unders. All right? Your goal is to be moving for 10 minutes. You guys are gonna have a nice good sweat built up after this. Your legs are gonna be on fire, which is just what we wanna see in this week 3. I hope you guys have fun. If you have any questions, feel free to email, call, or text me. Take care, guys.